But that's why I guess God gave us people. You know what I mean?
Come on.
We're not supposed to do everything.
I seen man, it was a Facebook post. It's always funny, I don't say Facebook post, but I seen a Facebook post and it was from I don't know if they were a preacher or whatever, but it was like, yo, what God has put on you may not be for the whole body. Like, it may not be for you to prophesize over everybody. This might just be specifically your thing. And I was like, damn, that's a bar.
Yeah. That's a way of life.
You feel me? Because how often we get a gift and we be like, yo, I need to spread this to the world.
Let me spread this download, and it's like, hey, let it enjoy it.
That part.
Enjoy it. Guys, I gave that to you. It'd be like certain times, like me and KK, we'd be like singing to God, and like it'd be a fire song, and it's like, dang, well, let's write down the words real quick after we like finish. We go to write it down, and God, like, that was for my jukebox. You know what I'm saying? Like, It's just like everything ain't meant to be shared, and so I appreciate stuff like that. You know what I mean?
It's a real thing.
And just also like let you know how connected you are with yourself too. You know what I mean? Because in order to be connected with God, you got to be connected with self. Because you got to go through yourself to get to God. You know what I'm saying?
Come on, man. Listen.
They don't call it source for nothing.
Listen.
Yo, I got a lot of living to do before I die. I ain't got time to waste. Time don't wait. Everything costs. Time been money. I don't fool with homie. Slime been funny. I don't do no jokes unless I'm the one telling them. Y'all nasty like 69. Y'all boys telling. Stay away from goofies. This is not a movie. Avoiding loopholes from U-Haul, you don't move.
Peace, big love, big blessings, even bigger living, everything that come with and everything in between. You are tuned into Thinking Out Loud with Samuel David. It's just a conversation, man, if you choose to engage. And before we get into my amazing special guest here on the side of me, Happy New Year, right? And I gotta give a major shout out to Mulberry Art Gallery here in Wichita, Kansas, where we are located. Major shout out to my producer, Gabriel Booker, GBC Visuals. And if you are tuned in right now, that means you should also go to YouTube. Subscribe and like to Thinking Out Loud with Samuel David on Spotify, Amazon, any platform that you listen to your podcast. Make sure you look for Thinking Out Loud with Samuel David. And then on your social medias, Instagram, TikTok, Thinking Out Loud Convo. Stay in tune with us, like, share, comment, tell your folks, and engage in the conversation. Now that we got that out the way. Today I have one of the most amazing special guests. Good friend of mine, been knowing this brother for quite some time. He is a photographer, videographer, visionary, artist, recently released The King's Treasure. My great friend, brother Eddie Legvcy.
How y'all doing?
What's up, brother?
Appreciate you having me, brother.
I appreciate you pulling up, man.
Man, it's a pleasure. It's a pleasure.
I like that.
I've been waiting for this moment.
Word.
Yes, sir.
Well, I'm glad
you've been all over the internet, shaking the scene.
Hey, man, trying to make an impact where we can, right?
If God gave it to me, you are.
See,
as long as we sitting here, we do it.
I see what you're gonna do today, Eddie. I'm all about pouring life into folks, and Eddie gonna keep that cup. The cup just gonna keep pouring and pouring and pouring. I love it.
Iron sharpen iron.
Yes. Hey, man, listen, a question I love to ask, so I know exactly where we're going in conversation.
Yes, sir.
How is your spirit?
How is my spirit?
Yes, indeed.
That's crazy, because yesterday I realized that my spirit is healing. My spirit was broken last year.
Okay.
But it's healing. I'm in a healing stage.
Yeah.
I'm doing a 6-month detox.
Okay.
Basically, social media just for business. No smoking, no drinking. And actually last night, I went into the refrigerator and saw that there was parasites in my salmon before I even opened the salmon. So I'm actually gonna add meat to my detox as well.
Word. That happened right on time then.
Literally.
For you.
On the first.
Wow.
I was like, I'm about to go make some salmon. I was like, I looked in there, I was like, oh, this is Instagram in real life.
No, that's real.
My spirit it's healing. I'm healing and I'm detoxing, but I'm good. You know, my light is still bright, it's still vibrant, and it still leads my path. So.
Okay. So the light ain't dimmed.
Oh no.
The light ain't went out.
It's just, got a couple cracks that just need to be sealed. That's all.
And that's important to recognize, right? Because a lot of times we can go through moving with a broken spirit and not even realize our spirit is broken, not even addressing a broken spirit, right?
And I think that's also because there's so many distractions and we're always doing this and that we don't even sit down and take the time to, hey self, how you doing? How are you?
Yeah.
You know, how you been? Let me hug you real quick. You know what I mean?
Come on.
And just be present.
When you ask yourself, because I'm sure that's the question you had to ask yourself to even pursue a detox completely, is hey self, how are you? What did yourself tell yourself?
Myself told myself that I miss you. I sit and I stand and I lay with you every day, everywhere you go, and I'm the last person you acknowledge some days.
Wow. How does that happen? Like,
well, for me, with my detox, we're learning to get more organized as well.
Okay.
So I think you get so used to pouring into everybody else's cup because yours is just always, running over, you know what I mean? In a spiritual sense, you know what I mean? Like, and I feel we can't forget ourselves, you know what I mean? Especially like I'm a new father, you know what I mean? And when my son was born, all my devoted attention went to him. Everything went to him, and I kind of in a way lost myself in a sense. I feel not lost, but I quit acknowledging myself because on top of having a child, it wasn't the easiest circumstance. So it made it a little more stressful, and I'm healing. It's ill, and it's dope you say that, because as I listen to King's Treasure, that's one of the big things that I hear the theme throughout all the songs. There's about 18 songs in there. It's a lot of songs. It is a lot of songs.
You're getting a lot off you, right?
Yes.
And
I
something
had to
that
shed that. It was like releasing it, literally. You know what I mean? And that was and it was literally. I literally woke up one day and I was like, December 2nd, you gotta release that. Yeah, release the album. You gotta get rid. You gotta shed of that and let that go. And with that, I was able to create all this art, this sound, and I'm still finding my sound, but I feel I was able to, release what I felt like had a hold on me. So now that's why I feel like I've entered my season of healing, because, I just got done shedding that layer of skin that no longer served me, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and you provide services, right? So you are interacting with so many different spirits on the daily, and I don't provide service. I'm not a service provider.
Be glad.
But something I noticed, man, is that when you provide a service, now let me step it back, because I pour into a lot of people. So I think one of my services is human services, right? And what I recognize is I may pour so much, I may breathe life into so many people, and I don't come up for air enough. And I was even sharing with wifey, I was sharing with Gabe before we even set up, man, it's like, I looked at this past year and I was like, man, I don't know how much I've grown. You know what I mean? Like humbly, with all humility, with all real shit. Like, I don't know how much I've grown because I haven't poured enough into me, right? And I think as men, it's sometimes when we recognize that, it's too late, right? Or we'd be like, you know what? I got these bigger responsibilities than me. I got these kids.
You know what I'm
saying? I got this wife. I got these services I got to provide.
I got to go to work. I got to do this. I got to.
You feel me?
Like ends meet. I got this, that, the third, man. Every anything to make an excuse not to acknowledge self. You know what I mean? It's really what we got to start pinpointing.
Real
that.
life.
Like, it's an excuse. Because before these kids was here, we was here. God gave us our life.
Come on.
So how disrespectful for us to, not engage and indulge and marinate within the humble abode of this universal lottery ticket of a meat sack we claim ours, our human body.
Real life. Let me ask this, because as I listen to the album, as I have conversation with you, as I would even see you're not on the social media, it's heavy. I'm gonna get to a post you made here shortly, so I'm gonna get to that in a little bit. But even as I see the post you make, like you are intentional about protecting your peace. How did you even, what taught you, or what gave you what gave you the balls to be like, yo, let me take care of me? Like, what brought that to the forefront for you?
Man, it's like, what did bring that forth? Really just experience of being, kind of comfortable and conditioned in a way to people pleasing, you know what I mean? People pleasing, and then, would not bringing it, at some point in time, I didn't ever acknowledge that I was people pleasing and didn't realize that I was neglecting myself, per se. And that I realized I was just giving my peace away, and I was valuing my peace basically through other people and on how they recognized me or how they, associated me with their lives. And it was just, it was total disrespect to myself. So, and I think also too was not really having guidance growing up, from my father, you know what I'm saying? I feel it was also easy to be distracted into the world given there's so many different distractions. Not trying to talk in circles, but to go back to peace, I realized, and like you said, I seen an Instagram post actually maybe like 8 years ago, and it was a little stick figure drawing, and it was like this little penguin or something, and there was another one next to it, and one of the penguins, like, it had on there happy or some happy sauce or something about happy. It was a happy one and a mad penguin. And the penguin was like, "Where'd you get that from?" He was like, "I created it." And that changed my life. So once I realized, like, I create moments and I create experiences for people, because for one, I love what I do. For two, they pay me to do so. You know what I'm saying?
Word.
But I need to pay myself with attention. With an attentiveness. I need to pay myself with more respect and boundaries, you know what I mean? Like, it ain't like I had to find that balance of you giving everybody else this peace of mind, you know what I'm saying? But you going home and then you smoking a blunt till your head pop off, you know what I'm saying? Because you don't want to, to take the time out to acknowledge self. And I had to. Man, it was a hard pill to swallow.
Yeah.
And once I started creating my peace, or intentionally setting the intention to, okay, I'm gonna start setting healthy boundaries for myself, and I'm not gonna do this, and I'm not gonna answer the phone after this time, and I'm not gonna take on 100 clients in 2 weeks, knowing dang well that I'm one person. You know what I mean? Like, just certain things like that, and that's why I said on the album too, my peace, you can never afford it. You know what I mean? Because you can't go buy it nowhere.
Come on. That's a real thing. Like, and people try to break your peace, and I can only imagine
especially those who aren't at peace. If they ain't at peace with themselves, they're gonna do anything to deteriorate yours
on purpose or on accident. They don't even realize it.
And sometimes it's spiritual. Like, they got demons that they haven't even faced, demons that they don't want to even look in the eyes, but they feed them on the daily. And then you got those people that turn around, they turn around and they internal project basically how they really feel about themselves, you know what I mean? And then they try to do anything to tear you down, to bring you back down to their level, or to get you to walk, you done elevated to, 10 floors above them, because they screaming and hollering, you know what I'm saying? Because they don't want to, they got this demon pulling on this leg here, on the coattail over here, and it's just like, at some point, you got to silence them people out, because if people who don't got peace gonna do everything to help you. People who are not at peace with themselves will do anything in their power to help you destroy yours. And people who don't have no business gonna be in everybody's but they own. So
you know what's ill about that, and I could be wrong. We just thinking out loud. So I don't never say it's a for sure. But something I recognize a lot of times with people who struggle with their own peace, or who may be like the genuine Misery Loves Company, they don't do it intentionally. Like, they don't even realize, because their peace is so blocked, or their light is so dark, they don't even realize when they're pulling people down, right? I won't go too deep into it, but I have an example of a loved one who is very selfish, right? Everything is about her, but that's how she was raised. Right, that's how she was groomed into her adulthood, even, right? Out in the world on her own. So it's not front of mind for her to be the most giving or selfless person, because this is all she knows. And I think that's a challenge as we find peace within ourselves, right? Is looking at the folks around us and recognizing, like, yo, I may not fully understand why you act that way, but something must have happened for you to be that way, right? And I can't hold that against you. I can challenge it, but I can never hold that against you. You feel me?
You know, I like that perspective. You can't hold it against them.
I can't.
But I like how you said I can challenge you, because it's like I see where we can fine tune some things here. You know what I'm saying? But it's like it's like leading the horse to the water. You can't make it drink.
Can't make it drink. Man, it's a book called The Art of Mastery, by Robert Greene.
Okay.
Same guy did The Art of Seduction, 48 Laws of Power. But there's a quote in there, and I'm a butcher it. But it talks pretty much about how you gotta respect people for who they are, right? And if a rock rolled in my way, that's a rock. What I'm gonna do? Like, I can either move it or go around it, but I can't be mad because the rock is in my way, because that's what rocks do. They're just there.
Right.
The same with people. Like, people have certain tendencies. You know what I mean? It's like, yo, if somebody show you their true colors, believe them. You know what I mean? So now let me step back a little bit. So
I used to be that person with the paint bucket trying to repaint them. Like,
come on,
that ain't your colors.
You feel me? Another quote I read. I started reading a book this morning called I don't know the name of the book off top, but it's the same, Don Miguel Ruiz, same guy that wrote The Four Agreements.
Okay.
Great book. Have you ever read The Four Agreements?
I just bought that book on the 31st of the year.
Okay.
Literally. I found it at Five Below for $5. So if y'all need the Four Agreements, go to Five Below.
Have you started reading it yet?
I haven't yet.
Okay.
There's this other book that I bought that day, and it was right on time with what a conversation I was having. Boogie, that's a whole nother convo.
For sure. Well, the quote that Don Miguel puts in here is like, because it talks about how we all have these principles or these laws or these agreements that we've made in life, right, that dictate the way we move. And even sometimes these agreements may not be our actual self. It might be a religion or laws or things like that. Or
something that was taught.
Something that was taught, the collective agreement. And it's like, yo, okay, I got to do that only because it's what we all do.
Right.
But he says that what we do often, and it really resonated this morning when I was reading it, is we'll hear somebody else's song and we'll try to put a melody to it over their melody. They already have the melody. Instead of just listening to the song or maybe adding a bass line or adding a drum, but we try to go over the main part of this person's song with our song or our beliefs or our thoughts. It's just kind of ill. Quick ramble. But so when you talk about breaking boundaries, right, or creating boundaries, right, removing people, how hard was that at first? Like, did you begin to see who your real friends and loved ones were, or was it like, yo, I don't care what we looking like, I need this for me?
It was kind of both, but it was definitely like, I need this for me, because like life was just, I felt like I felt like I hit rock bottom, so the only way to look was up, you know what I mean? And so I'm like, I'm focused on just getting back up in the sky and soaring, you know what I mean? I ain't worried about getting up and walking to get there, nothing. I'm just gonna keep my eye on the prize and everything. It's tunnel vision, so everything around me, I gotta shut it out right now for me, you know what I mean? For my own mental, because having so many different opinions in my, you know, in my ear, I only can speak for it, you know, it can lead to a misconstruction, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Because the people that I hold, whose opinion that I hold valuable, like, you know, there's a potent, heavy opinion, you know what I'm saying? So,
come on.
You know, and it's like, sometimes I just need to hear my own opinion. And then God was like, hey, you know, you can always call me, like you get the calling, you know, calling mama, get the calling your best friend, get the calling your little Relly, you know, you can call me like that too. Just tap in right here. That's all you gotta do.
That's layered. That's layered, man. Because we don't think we listen to ourselves enough. I think a lot of us I talk to myself all the time in my head. So I start thinking out loud, right? But we don't always hear ourselves.
Right. I definitely don't always hear myself, and I've been learning that a lot more lately. Like, to where, like, my manager, she's like, I'm going to just start recording you.
Yeah.
And I was like, just start recording me then, because she's like, I don't even think you even heard what you just said, or what you're even, like, I don't even think you understand the depth or the freaking impact that just had on my life. So just think, if you said that to her and put that in a song, or you turn that into a visual, you know what I mean? So,
because you're a giver, right? Not just from a service provider, but I've seen your work, right? And you do a damn great job at maternity shoots.
Thank you.
Right, definitely. And that's that's one of those core memories. My daughter always says it's a core memory, right? But that's one of those core memories for so many women, and the babies may not know it, but as they like, that'll be something that's attached to them, and so you're there pouring life.
Like the preparation of their worldly debut, you know.
You feel me?
And so I try to enhance that experience and just the beauty and the art of it, you know. I don't know, after I became a father, I viewed women like growing humans inside of their body differently.
Talk to me, how'd you see it before?
It was just like, you know, okay, you got a kid, you know, like, okay, you're my mom, you know what I mean? Like, that's just what it is. But when you have your own child, it's magical. It's magical. And it really just changed. It really just made me have a different type of deeper, valued respect for women. You know what I mean? I'm like, they literally created every human being on this earth. Without them, we wouldn't even be sitting here right now.
Come on.
And that's so I started doing the majestic maternity experience. It's because I want people to have a visual representation to put some respect on them. You know what I mean? Put some respect on it. You know what I'm saying? Like, these women gift us children, you know, and give us a higher sense of purpose in life, you know, outside of our own self and goals, you know, and aspirations. And then also, all the pain and suffering and just the growth, it's just whew.
Hey, women go through a lot. I think it's twofold.
So to make it beautiful, you know, if I can make it just beautiful for them, it's just a little hour, 2 hour situation. You know what I mean?
Be an experience.
You know, they can take that experience with them for the rest of their life. You know, child ain't born yet, don't even know like how the greatness that had, you know, was just imprinted before you even got here. It's like I help enhance like these people. I don't feel like I cross paths with anybody for no reason either.
Okay.
Like, so like when I do, I'm rambling now. But
no, listen, I laugh when people get on here and they say I'm rambling. We just thinking out loud.
Literally.
That's the point of it all. We just thinking out loud. We just getting our thoughts off. But something that I definitely have to acknowledge as we talk women, black women. I think black women are the greatest creation.
I agree.
God's greatest creation.
Shout out to black women.
Shout out to you beautiful black women. Shout out to my wife, my mom, and my daughter, my sister.
Shout out to
these
my
cousins. Without getting too spiritual, because I don't have facts to back it, and it's all faith and whatever. I be sometimes believing God's a woman.
Okay,
right.
Let's talk about it, because hey, I've had this thought before.
It's like, what came first, the chicken or the egg? And again, I don't know. But then, there's so many layers to the faith foundation, because like one could also say, God is in us. Right, or the big man in the sky. But I believe if there was an entity that I could touch, it is in black women. God is a black woman.
I agree.
So okay, cool.
I agree.
Cool. If you believe that, you can just drop it in the comments and engage in there. I won't do too much on camera because I don't have enough to articulate that thought, but I truly believe it. I also believe many different thoughts can be held at the same time. Like, sorry, I can go forever. But funny thing I wanted to ask you is I was looking at photos and photo shoots that you've had, and I seen you recently did like some dope holiday family photos. And it's a childish question, so forgive me for being childish. But in your work, have you ever came across somebody who shot with this family, and then he pull up and be like, yo, I got this family to shoot with too? Like, it'd be a brother that's got multiple families to take photos with. Is that a real thing? Because I seen someone, I was like, yeah, I didn't know they were together. I thought they were with someone else. Not being nosy, but just being observant, right? So is that a thing? Does that happen in your field? And when it happens, can you speak on it? You can answer that last one first before you go
I
into
can't really speak on it like in detail, but I will tell you. There was this one time I did some family photos with this. It was a man from another country. Okay. And I did photos of him and his family. First time meeting him, family, boom, pow. A couple years later, I'm taking family pictures of this man again, but not with the same family.
Word.
But I'm taking pictures at his wedding. And they had it in the backyard, so it was like super private.
Very low key.
Yes. So I just sip my tea and I just here to capture the memories for the people. You know what I'm saying? Like, if they want me to capture their soap operas, then so be it.
Yeah. No, that's word. That's word. I love it. And I was looking through photos and I just thought of that. I'm like,
that's funny. That's a good question though.
You know,
hey, it's only happened like once though, like that one time.
That's word.
But that's funny. Watch it happen now that we
No, we say it's gonna happen in real life. But man, you do a damn, like, one of my favorite things looking at your photos, Eddie, is like your, not just the photo quality, because that's a whole nother conversation, that's a whole nother piece. The amount of preparation and work you put into like the settings, it be some of the most eclectic, right? I mean, look at you now, you got the parrot, not the parrot, the peacock, you got the glasses.
a little peacock situation. Pippi wanted to come say hi, y'all.
You feel me? But you are a very eclectic individual. You know what I mean? And it's wild to hear you talk about people pleasing. Because to see you, I would think he don't give a shit what nobody got to think about him. It's that comfortability. Where did the high level of the eclecticness personally, but also putting that into the visual, where'd that come from?
So I literally like started calling like my photo shoots experiences because, or like video shoots or whatever type of art, anything art related is an experience because I channel it through my experience, my journey. So basically like it curated because I wanted to personalize each experience that I had with people. So if I crossed paths with them, I knew it was for a reason. So I would get to know them and like I'd give myself like 30-minute consultation to get to know these people enough to where I can make their vision come to life. And not only make it come to life, but add my little extra razzle dazzle. And I think the eclectic look. Don't charge it to my heart, y'all. But I think a lot of that too came like from like watching BET growing up a lot, you know what I mean, and MTV, and I was like, I always loved like the extra just superstar like look, you know what I mean? I'm like, so I was like, even within my own just dressing, I'm like, I'm just gonna dress like I'm walking on the red carpet every day. Like it's my life, you know, I'm the star of it, and hey, I'm gonna go ahead and decorate myself however I feel for today, you know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna feel it, and really it's really what it is also is another way of just expressing myself, because I don't feel like I've always had the best like the right choice of words or the best conversation, like, you know, with my upbringing, you know what I mean? So I had to find like other ways to express. And then, you know how you say a thought inside of a thought. So like, and then also I feel like, because I've done photography for the last 15 years, I feel like 10 years, maybe around 10 years, I feel like I was like blinded by my camera, by my images. Like people didn't see me, they just saw my art, you know? And so a way for me to feel more comfortable, like, you know, and feel like people gonna recognize who I am. This was before, I guess that was before energy, because energy don't lie, you know what I'm saying? But I don't know, it just made me feel better, you know what I'm saying, about myself. Like just, you look good, you feel good, you know what I mean?
That's a fact, that's a fact. No, that's fire, that's really fire, man. The eclecticness, I think leads to the Legvcy name, right? Because that was a question I wanted to ask, is because Eddie Legvcy, that's a hard ass name. I'd be remiss to believe that's your surname. Is that your last name in real life?
No.
Okay. That would have been fire.
I'm thinking about changing it in real life.
Where did Legvcy come from? Because it takes a lot to put that as part of your joint, right? Like I used to call myself King Sam, and niggas couldn't tell me I wasn't that. And I backed it up in the music, right?
Right. No, I remember that.
You remember that? I've become a much more humble individual in different respects. But
still Eddie, a king though. Still a king.
100%. That's a factual. But Eddie Legvcy, like, where did that name stem from?
Eddie Legvcy stemmed from my great grandfather. He was pretty much the only virtuous man I knew growing up. He was a virtuous man. He was a God-fearing man. He was a husband. He was a family man, and he was a selfless man. Like he was the only man that I know would take time out of his day, like with his wife and everything. My grandma had Alzheimer's and dementia since the 90s, you know, and she just passed away last February.
Condolences.
You know, it's a way of life, circle of life, you know. But he would go get the breads, the cakes, the cupcakes, and all kind of just pastries and hand them out to like all different types of churches. And he let people come to his house and just all the time and just be so just giving. Like, because of that, his giving, I feel like that's why I felt like in a way like I was a people pleaser in a way growing up, because I'm like, I want to be like my great grandpa. You know what I mean? I want to just do for people. But then as you grow up, you realize. You got to set boundaries, you know what I'm saying, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, legacy, and then also, that's where it originated, was my great-grandfather. But as I, kept the name and I grew with the name, I feel like I realized, legacy also, as I grew connected to the name, I realized that I'm basically freezing time for people. And so in a sense, I'm basically capturing their legacy and also leaving my legacy at the same time, because when I'm dead and gone, my art will still be here. So my legacy will live forever. And now that I got a little seed, a little seedle now. Now it's like the 3D format of it, you know what I mean? So it's like, I got my human version of my legacy, my life, and then I also help other people remember theirs and remember it in the most beautiful, enhanced way that they possibly can, that I could possibly capture it,
100.
Because whenever I'm done taking photos, or I'm done being creative director or whatever, I literally am drained, because I literally channel everything throughout myself. I'm bending and twisting and looking all kind of crazy and kooky, trying to just get the shot in an angle,
on purpose.
Literally on purpose.
I love that.
Mm-hmm.
I love that.
It is really on purpose, because I'm so tall, so my perspective is different from everybody else's. So sometimes I want to get down here and see what other people see, and it's like, okay, hold on, let me see.
Yeah. Hey, perspective is a funny thing, especially because I'm 6'3". And it's random as hell, but you just made me think of it. I had to stop hanging the stuff up at my house, pictures and mirrors, because it'd be out of nobody else can see it. And it's a weird thing, that perspective piece. I want to ask you a question about fatherhood here shortly, but I'm stuck on perspective in my head. And I told myself, I just want to share all thoughts that I have this year, right?
Let's get it.
But perspective is wild, because if I'm driving to you, right? And this is random as hell, so forgive me. But if I'm driving to you, then I'm driving far. It's a far trip for me. If you're coming to me, it's a far trip. You feel me? And I think perspective is one thing that we seldom appreciate or respect. Right? And I just love to hear what you just mentioned about you said your grandfather, right?
Great-grandfather.
Great-grandfather. So, with him being the most virtuous man from your perspective, growing up, who you were able to see, so that means, was your grandfather and your father in that same picture?
My grandfather, he was a virtuous man, but he was in Georgia. I was raised in Georgia, but I was born in Kansas. I was raised in Georgia, so I got to know my grandfather, my mom's dad. We called him Big Daddy.
Okay.
Rest in peace. However, I was young, so I didn't really get to connect with him like I would want to have. My father, my biological father, he hasn't even met my kid. Let's just.
I always know that's about the father. Anytime a nigga say my biological father, you know it's about to come with some shit on the other side.
No
right?
shade, but I mean,
it's
just shout out to my great grandfather and my
100.
grandfather. You know what I'm saying? And shout out to Reggie. My step pops that stepped up.
Word. So stepdad, that was the one of the men in your life that was really.
Yeah, he stepped up. That's we have to cut this part out, because that's a whole nother topic in itself. But he stepped up and he did what he could. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Growing up, in the '90s, it was a whole completely different life. And so I can't judge. I can't try to put my thumb on it or get too heavy of an opinion. It's just I appreciate him because. He showed up, you know what I'm saying?
Word.
I guess it was better than having nothing.
No, straight up. And that's why I led with perspective, right? Because I never knew my pops, my real pops. Ever. Never met him. He passed when I was 5. Didn't even know he was my real dad, right? Had no clue who he was. Somebody else raised me till I was 10 and he bounced, right? Growing up, he wasn't shit to me after that. It's like trash ass dude. You know what I mean? As I became a man, my perspective on that whole situation shifted. You feel me? Like even thinking of how we started this conversation, right? Like yo, how often we, as men, we do what we know or what we think is right, and we may not take the whole picture into consideration, or we may not realize that we got to take care of ourselves first so we can take care of the collective. And as a father, it really, I swear, bro, every day I look at my kids, I'm like, yo, how the fuck did this happen? You know what I mean? Like, y'all think I'm that guy, and I'm getting better. I'm trying to get better, right, daily. But y'all, the way y'all see me is this way. But something's gonna happen as they get older, right? And their perspective might switch to be like, oh, maybe dad wasn't a superhero, right? He was just doing what he knew. That's like, I won't say that's a fear, but that's something that I have to be able to accept.
It's crazy because I've already had that thought with my son too, because he just looks at me with such a joy and happiness.
You
and
feel
I'm
me?
like, I'll be trying not to, but I'm like, God, why, you really thought I was honorable enough to be a dad? Like, like me? Like, yeah. And then it's just like, it's like, God, like, it's like instant like slap in the face, because it's like, ain't he there?
You feel me?
You know what I'm saying?
You feel me?
Just like, it's just such a great, it's just one of the biggest blessings, man.
It's the greatest. I truly believe being a father. This is, again, as I preach and dig up my women, I think being a father is such a, stepping it back, I think it is the most godliest thing that somebody can do.
Come on.
Right? And I say that because when I look at the Bible, or I look at scripture, or I look at any other faith system, it's a real thing, right? Because there is the person that's in charge of it all, right? That's given this wisdom, that's given this game. If you fall, I ain't gonna pick you up. I'm gonna be there with you.
You know what I'm saying?
Right, you know what I'm saying? Like, I can't make you do nothing, but I can give you everything that I know to be true for you to be the best version of you. And I think about that daily, man, when I look at the kids. And it's a question I always ask. I love to ask my brothers, man, especially you're a newer father, 2 years in it. I got a 10-year-old son, a 14-year-old daughter. Shit don't get easy.
You OG.
I'm an OG to some folks, right? But I really believe it's like one of the most divine.
You said it doesn't get easier?
It doesn't get easier. It gets more fun.
Yeah.
But I mean, so, okay, my daughter's 14, right? She still has the agreements and the laws that I give her. But now that she's growing into her own, she's being exposed to more things. She can challenge those a little bit, see what makes sense, what don't make sense, right? And my biggest hope is that everything I give her is the foundation, and that she uses that as her her litmus to be like, okay, this is what I know. This is what I know to be right.
You know, it's a good starting point, though. You know,
you feel me?
Especially because it's not like you telling her anything that ain't worked for you, and she got to start. She needs something to start with, her snowball effect, you know.
Yes.
But I love that you got that. You have that perspective, because I feel like she will eventually, once she'll leave, she will go get her own thoughts, and like she will, you know, challenge your, you know, perspectives. You know what I'm saying? But it ain't even a challenge. It's just more so an enhanced version.
It's a question.
And it's like, hey, I would be so honored my child come back and come teaching me something, you know what I mean, put me on. Because I thought I was teaching you something.
And like, that's the beauty in, as they age, is how much I learn from my kids, right? And I'm hopeful that everybody learns from their kids, because there's always the conversation of the youth and the generations being lost. And it's, I think what happens too often is generations tell, preach, instead of listening. And when I listen to my kids, my crib is the one the kids come to. Like, so my daughter's Fred.
So key.
Come on, man. Ooh. Listen, we just thinking out loud.
I don't think they heard you.
We just thinking out loud.
You said something earlier that I wanted to say.
Talk to me.
With fatherhood, back on fatherhood. Another reason you said it's godly.
I think so.
I was going to touch on why I feel like it's self-fulfilling for me, and I'm sure you could relate. But not having, you know, the little boy within. I feel is being healed as I get to raise my child, you know what I mean? So the voids that I thought were voids are being filled with like this burst of light, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, that's why I'm like, I'm in the healing process right now, you know what I mean? Like, I'm still getting my feet wet in parenthood, you know what I'm saying? But I was like, the more and more like my son like comes and he'll just say a random word, you know what I mean? His thing right now is Blippi. So he's excavators and tractors and, you know, all kind of stuff I don't know nothing about, you know what I mean? But it's just, you know, just like being there and just seeing him grow every day and learning and asking, or he'll ask a question like two-word questions like juice, you know, or he'd be like he's like, is that a bird? Or he's like, is that a dog? And I'm like, no, that's a fox. And he's like, he'd be like, doggy. I'd be like, fox. He's like, dog. He's like, arguing. But I feel like I could feel literally like in those moments like my inner child, like my soul just like being like just hugged and so warm. It's like a warm embrace. Like my son like was, I feel like, you know, sent also to, you know, to heal me, you know, and to raise me, you know what I'm saying? Well, I'll do the same. So I feel like it's like a mutual exchange, like it's a sacred energy exchange. And that's why it took the sacred energy exchange to get that, you know what I mean?
Ooh, that's a bar. That's a bar. I won't get too much to that sacred energy exchange. But I do have to ask, bro, like what has been one of your biggest challenges as a father? 2 years is a lifetime, clearly, right? Because your little guy is 2. Yes. What has been one of your most challenging moments?
One of my most challenging moments being a father has been, or was, I don't even want to claim it no more, is maintaining peace in co-parenting. Ooh. And like doing it in a healthy format. Like, co-parenting has literally shown me faces of myself that I didn't want to see. Like I didn't realize like, okay, you might pop off a little bit. You know what I mean? You might get a little angry and don't communicate, you know, effectively and efficiently sometimes. You know what I mean? And I realized, you know, why? I was asking myself why, and I'm like, it's because you're not getting your way, and I had to, you know, swallow that pill, no water. And, you know, that's why I say it was, because now I realize it's not just about my feelings, you know what I mean? It's not about just what I want, you know what I mean? It's not about even just what the mom wants. It's really about what's best for the kid, you know what I mean? What's best for the child. But however, I do want to say in the same sentence, it's about the child, but ... you can't forget the parents, because without the parents, you know, they mental ain't right, you know what I'm saying? And without the parents, the child wouldn't have never been here. Fact. So I've been going through, you know, all these loops and whirlwinds and crazy rings of fire with the courts, and, you know, it's not an easy fight.
I believe it.
But it's definitely worthwhile. It's worth it. Seeing that smile on my son's face makes it worth it every day.
Yeah.
But
that's the ultimate. So I'm married 11 years, 12 years this year. My son will be 11. Yeah, he was planned. Sorry, thinking out loud. But I think about the traditional sense, or the most productive structure, I believe the most productive structure of a family is both parents raising a child together, right? Marriage in itself is a very fulfilling challenge of compromises daily, right? With one common goal as one. Then the kids, then everybody else. I couldn't imagine co-parenting, right? Because now you have to take in consideration yourself, her, and the child. So now all 3 worlds have to be collectively cohesive.
Yeah, and coexist separately, but together. It's like, I'm still trying to find balance, literally. I'm still trying to find balance. I have not found balance yet. I'll just be honest. But what I do know is that I declared and I took back my peace, you know, just for starters, you know what I mean? I'm taking back my peace, and with that being said, not that I didn't have peace, but it definitely like was dampering my peace, you know what I mean? Not being able to control how things operate fully 100% with my seed, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because it's like once you become a father, it's like it was instant. Like I don't know what niggas in the 90s was doing. Like I don't know how y'all was just like fuck them kids. You know what I mean? Like I don't know how my daddy was like, you know, fuck it. You know what I mean? Like I just as soon as I looked at my son, I just fell in love. You know, I'm like, I'm not going nowhere. You got me for the rest of your life.
You know what it is, and I haven't been in a situation, the inability to compromise.
And not wanting to grow up?
And not want to grow up. Like, I think that's really what it is, right? Like, because it's when those two, because again.
So I'm really breaking curses right now.
That's the goal of it, right?
Learning to compromise.
Man, so the guy that raised me, and not necessarily he's not my biological. I call him my godfather at this point, because him and my mom weren't even together.
Oh, well.
Right? So they had an agreement when I was born, and then they split. Right, so I've never in my life had a man live at my house. You know what I'm saying? So when I say I don't have no pops, that's what I mean when I say I had no pops. But the guy that raised me, and then he bounced, I was like 10. Then I found out a whole bunch of other stuff about my life, which I won't get into today.
Yeah. That happened to me at 12.
See, it's a real thing, right? But as I had a conversation with him as an adult, I realized all the shit that I preach about mental health, black men's rights, he was struggling with. And it was not a topic of conversation during that time. So think, you talk generational curses, think of all the rules and agreements that we have as men and how we was raised. Get your bitch ass up, you ain't supposed to cry.
Right.
Like all these horrible.
Suck it up.
Like these horrible things that we were taught often, either by men who may not have had the most productive upbringing, right? Or by mothers who had to overcompensate. So now they have to fill a masculine and feminine role, right? And so looking at those challenges is I forgive any man who struggles to be in their child's life. I'm still challenge them. But I can understand how it could come to that.
Yes.
Because niggas don't be equipped.
Yes. That made me damn near want to cry. You know,
you can take the glasses off.
I forgive every man too. I'm glad you said that. Like I really do. I wholeheartedly forgive y'all. You know, but I'm gonna challenge you too, because I feel like everybody, if you can create a child, you can take care of a damn child. You know what I'm saying? Come on. You got your rocks off. Now, going on down to work, because now you're going to have to pay to take care of it now.
You feel me?
And I don't even want to get started on the government, because they're going to come for you anyway. Let me tell you, I thought I was fighting for time for my son for the last 2 years. I fought to be on child support. I still haven't been granted time.
Sheesh.
The judge, it was, quarantine, so, between court over the phone or the Zoom calls. And it was the holidays, my son's first Christmas last year. The judge literally told me, she's like, not last year, but I guess it would be 2021. But she told me, she's like, I'm not looking at your case until you're put on child support, and you determine DNA in my court of law.
Sheesh. And
I was literally crying on the phone to this lady. Like, Your Honor, like, this is my son's first Christmas. I didn't have a father growing up. I want to be in my son's life for everything, for you to be like, I don't care, nigga, Yeah. You need to go get these modernized slave papers, and then I'll talk to you. I'll handle you accordingly.
Yeah.
And they still ain't handle me accordingly. So,
see, it's systematic. And I'm gonna say this, then I'm gonna get off the fellas. I'm gonna get off the fellas. But I think even about
don't stop fighting for them kids, y'all.
Don't stop fighting for your kids. Something that I also recognize is that so a lot of brothers that were put on child support, just the trauma. So again, we now have the ability to have the conversation around mental health, to set boundaries. We have the resources. These brothers didn't. And then they getting hit with child support. So now my Maslow's hierarchy of needs is something I always think of. Is my base level met? Do I feel safe? Are my needs met? Niggas' needs ain't getting met. On top of, because I couldn't imagine any brother being like, oh, you just had a baby? Holla, I'm out. Some whack ass niggas though.
Yeah.
But for the most part, I don't think most brothers is like, yo, there'd be so many different pieces to it. But before we go to this quick break, I will say you cannot be around me as a deadbeat father at all. Like, I'm gonna check it in real life.
I'm not hanging around. I'm not hanging around no deadbeats. If your parenting sucks, you can't sit at my table either. So.
Come on. So a question I love to ask, and I think it's it may resonate even more, especially because you have a young fella, right? 2 years old. What would you tell yourself 10 years ago? Like when you look in that mirror, you'd be like, Eddie, bro.
10 years ago, I would tell myself, it's all gonna be all right. Just keep pushing forward. Don't look back. Yeah. And it's okay to believe in yourself.
That's hard. That's hard, and that's hard. Right? It's a real thing.
Like, seriously, it's okay.
It's okay.
And it's okay to not know everything, you know what I mean? It's okay to not know everything. It's okay to embrace the unknown.
Yeah.
Because for around that era, my adolescent era, I was definitely trying to, I was trying to play God, you know, and I was humbled real quick, like, bro, real quick.
I have a very similar story. I thought I was practicing 5%ers and all of this, and then universe, God said, gotcha, nigga, you are not in control.
You built a mountain.
You feel me? You feel me? One last question I'll ask you, man, especially with photography, this journey of self-healing that you're on, the music. So you may notice, right, on the show, I don't really talk a lot about the work that people do because the work is there. I want to know you.
That's beautiful. Yeah,
like, I want to get to know you, right? But when it comes to the work that you put in, from photography to videography to the visionary pursuits that you have, and now even the music, right? What let you know, or what confirmed to you that you were on the right path?
When I would, well, for one, as I was capturing or creating the art, it felt good here. That was one. For two, if I was creating something for somebody else and then for them to be satisfied or above, that was fulfilling. And that's pretty much it. If it feels right here, that's how I know. Like it just my heart rings. Like I feel, like I was saying earlier, I literally channel everything through myself. You know what I mean, or through my experiences and, you know, emotions and feelings. You know what I mean. And I think that's another reason to answer your question earlier. My bad to go off, but the being eclectic is, I think. Being raised, being like, suck it up, you know, you can't cry, I feel like art gave me that safe space to feel my emotions, you know what I'm saying, and to healthily express myself, you know what I mean?
Yeah. That's fire. That's fire. Listen, we could go for hours, like, and have a conversation. That's why I love connecting with my brothers, man. But I got to tell you, Eddie, I appreciate you not just taking the time to sit and chop with me and just think out loud, but being so transparent.
Man, I appreciate you for having me and just giving me this opportunity to be transparent.
100%.
It felt good, and I hope that it, you know, can help somebody, you know.
Hey, it helped me.
Hey,
right.
I did, but I lived in my purpose today.
Come on,
you know?
Come on, now. Walking in purpose, on purpose.
Yeah, on purpose.
On purpose. Listen,
that's a bar.
Eddie Legvcy. Make sure y'all follow him on the Instagrams, Eddie Legvcy. Check out the new album, The King's Treasurer. Yes. Eddie Legvcy on all streaming platforms.
That's Legacy with a V, Legvcy, no A, upside down A. The V is for visuals, visionary. Take your pick.
I like that. I like that. Listen, the biggest love. I wish you all great health and continued wins. Big love, bigger blessings. Holla.
Yes. That's what's up. That was a pleasure.
Love you, bro.
I love you too,
bro.
Thank you.
That was fun. That was great.
I ain't got my phone. We gotta take a picture.
Yes, Gabe gonna get the flick. Gabe gonna get the flick.
I got a lot of living to do before I die. I ain't got time to waste. Time don't wait. Everything costs. Time been money. I don't fool with homie. Slime been funny. I don't do no jokes unless I'm the one telling them. Y'all nasty like 69. Y'all boys telling. Stay away from goofies. This is not a movie. Avoiding loopholes from U-Haul, you don't move me.